Just imagine if I take a low-end device and serve a really hardcore game, what will happen? I don't want to serve an ad which eventually a user will download, but it will never work, even though he has a Wi-Fi, right? Somebody has 1 GB RAM, and the whole hardcore game requires so much of memory and CPU that it just heats up and never starts properly, right? So you need to be making sure, and this is all happening when the request came, and the request has to go and come back in 200 milliseconds. So that's the scale I'm talking. It's not about the large data also, but it's the response time. Imagine with the blink of an eye, you need to know that this is the right user, and hence that piece has to come in. Then another thing that's important is point of interest, the POI in short. A lot of ad serving or a lot of actually business decisions or strategies are made around POI. If there is some event happening, right, people start bombarding with all that marketing ads and stuff like that because they know the kind of audience they're gonna get. That particular audience classification and bucketing has already happened, and hence POI becomes very important. If I end up showing somewhere where people are for example, if you're in a movie, obviously you're not gonna use an app. Even if you're using an app, probably you're not going to engage with an ad, right? So that time I might serve something like an ad of a restaurant which might be just near to you, and you will say, okay, after 9 let's go for a dinner, right? So those kind of contexts are very important. Obviously in 200 milliseconds for that large data to make it work, a platform has to come in, and that's where the 15% makes the difference for the rest of the 85% people who are very strong in people skills. So let's talk about the scale. I don't remember the numbers, so I'm going to check. 2.1 trillion ad requests that we get in a year. 2.1 trillion. If I take one ad request as 4 kilobytes, just multiply what the size can become. 150K peak ad request. This means that in 1 second, InMobi will be receiving 150,000 ad requests coming from different apps from around the world. And 14 billion events total, which I said like click, whether the person saw or not, ad requests, after what did he do after click and stuff like that. So that's the size of the data I'm talking about, which translate into more than 1 billion users. And around that more than 1 billion users, we have rich data set about 500 million users. And when I say rich data, that means I could figure out in that 200 millisecond, not exactly who you are, but what type you are, what kind of a person you are, like that personification of that person, so that I can actually show a utility app or a game app or